killing bush. I've got him at gunpoint.
They're pulling them out.
1011. Advise ready for camp.
God!
Welcome to another episode of War Stories. I'm Tom.
I'm Chuck.
And we have a returning guest plus a new guest. I guess you're not even a returning guest, dude. You're a returning host.
I just kind of show up.
You just
kind of show up.
You're like, I'm here when I'm here, and then I'm not when I'm not.
True. Yeah, that's about how it works
Exactly.
so far. Yeah,
like the Phantom. What's been going on with you, Chuck?
Oh, not much. Staying at home, doing a bunch of nothing. Just awaiting medical pension, seeing if that flies, and then that's about it. Really.
That's such a pain in the ass waiting for that.
Yeah, but I applied to a new job. That was interesting.
Isn't it weird to
Haven't heard shit.
move on like from your career and then you start like actually going out for new careers and new jobs and you're like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah, I mean, it was weird writing a resume. I've never written a resume in my fucking life. Because basically when you join law enforcement, it's just, we all know, it's checking the boxes, fill some shit out. That's your fucking resume. It's your background packet.
Right.
Well, they don't request one of those when you have to fill out this paper. It's on a Word document. And you just give it to them. It's the weirdest thing. It's almost like my agencies, and I'm sure you guys have it, but ours is, like I think it's a 1588, and you basically fill it out. And when you're trying to go for different spots, let's say narco, or you're going for vice, or you're going
a memo
for
of
gangs,
interest or whatever.
right? And you fill out all the qualifications that you would have for that spot. And it's basically all I did, and I just put bullet points, and I was like, well, this is what I qualify
Microsoft
for
Word
this
has
position.
resume builders. It's not,
yeah.
it's
My
just-
wife did it.
Yeah.
She's my resume builder.
But you guys have heard the voice of our guest, and how do you want us to call you?
You call me by my first name. I don't care.
Justin's fine?
That's fine.
Okay. Guys, I realized before we turned on the microphones, I'll say, hey, what do you want to go by? Because some people, we've had guys from agencies that literally do not want to use their name at all.
I don't give a shit.
Okay.
It's funny because once I left my old department, everything there, I was like, oh, I don't want people to know. And then I come up here to these little podunk departments, and I'm like, I really don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I get fired from here, the amount of money I'm making, I'll go mow lawns for a living.
Right.
Like, I don't give a shit. So,
Yeah, right.
It's funny because like my Facebook and Instagram, I'm not on it right now, but I just started posting all this political stuff I would never post before because I was worried about it. And I'm like, I don't fucking care.
I don't care.
I don't care.
Yeah.
So
Well,
You're
you're probably working. Oh.
No, go ahead.
I said you're probably working for an agency that's super pro cop and fucking pro law enforcement and pro freedom of speech.
yeah, I don't work in the state that I live in, so not so much.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the maybe
shit.
the department,
Okay.
but not necessarily the state.
Yeah.
The state is. We won't even mention the state, but it's not the state that I live in or that John lives in.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
You were a cop in the state we all used to live in, which is California.
Yes.
And Chuck is unfortunately still behind enemy lines. By the way, for those of you still in California, the chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall.
Pretty bad out here.
It's crazy. I follow the news and shit from where we moved up from in California. It's just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And that's the main reason we moved anyway, just get out of there. But it is interesting moving up here. I thought that our hands were tied down there law enforcement wise. And then I come up to the state that I'm currently working in and I'm like, dude, California was the shit when it comes to policing. California was awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'd heard that before, like a buddy went to Texas and he's like, dude, it's so crazy out there. Like, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And I didn't even think about that when I moved up here. I just thought freedom. Let me get my kids the fuck out of this commie little indoctrinated world. Oh, yeah, and we move up here and I'm like, I love living here, but working up here is a whole different ballgame.
We call it the upside down.
Dude.
It is the upside down working here.
And it's not even just the tactics, the policing itself. It's the people that you meet up here.
Right.
The mentalities are not the brotherhood mentality that I came from. You know, it's shit. I had to go to the academy for like a refresher course, right, in the state that I work in. It was a 2-week refresher course. And I get there and there's probably like 6 or 7 dudes with man buns. They're in the academy. They're like, I'm not in the academy.
I'm sorry, what now?
I'm not in the academy doing the academy, but I'm there at the academy with the recruits.
And there is a class of recruits.
There's a class of recruits running around. They're not even running around. They're just chilling. There's 6 or 7 with man buns. There's a dude that's got to be at least 300 pounds. There's a guy there that's like 65 years old, pure head of white hair, getting down on the mats with everybody else. Good for him, but he looked like my postman. And it's fucking, oh dude, what a story. They bring in this instructor, right? And this dude looks like a bad motherfucker. Just this big, solid, like Zeus looking dude, right? And he walks in and he's all fucking gruff and he's like, let me tell you a little bit about myself. And I'm like, all right, cool. Well, this shithead ended up working Vegas Metro, right? Back in like the early 90s.
Oh, yeah. Hook and book time.
Hook and book and kicking ass, taking names, right? Well, he says, I go home to my wife. She looks at me in the face. She's like, I can't believe the man you've become, blah, blah, blah. I'm taking the kids and getting the fuck out of here. He's like, okay, well, I'm leaving then, right? So he moves to the state that I work in currently, goes there, goes to a smaller department, right? And he's like, yeah, I was doing the same thing there. And then, people were looking at me weird, and I didn't realize that I was living in the area that I was working in, so I had to be nicer. So then he goes and works in the academy. So I do some research on this dude, me and another dude from LA.
Sure.
We were like, fuck this guy's a fuck. Because he starts coming off on all this like liberal bullshit towards the end, right? About how you should hug a thug and be nice to,
Whoa.
And you're
Dude.
like, wait, where did you come from?
So the dude came from Vegas. Well, this
Right.
is what happened. This is what I found out. So the dude that came from Vegas, he'd been indicted like fucking 6 times. They were filing indictments on him, and he got out of them.
Oh.
Then he
okay.
moves. Then he moves to the place that we're not speaking of.
Right.
This little town. Well, he gets shit canned from there because he's fucking all the female trainees, and then they put him at the academy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sick.
And so,
Which is exactly where you want to put a guy who likes to fuck trainees.
Exactly. So I hit him up and I go, dude, I go, let me speak frankly in front of the whole class. And I'm like, why are these fucking recruits walking around, talking on their cell phones, fucking around? No, yes, ma'am. No, yes, sir. No at attention. Nothing like that. I go, why aren't you molding these to be bad motherfuckers? And he's like, I can't do that in 4.5 months. We can't do that. These are, or I go, why are you,
Yes, you
why
can.
are you teaching these kids? And he goes, first off, they're not kids. And I go, all right, motherfucker.
Okay.
I go, okay. I go,
We're
this
done.
is where this conversation. Yeah, I'm like,
done.
this is, that's when I started doing my research.
Right.
I'm like, all right, I get it, you little bitch. But he's like, we can't mold him in 4.5 months. I go, you're out of your fucking mind, dude. I go, I was 20-year-old fucking pea-butt, and they turned me into a bad motherfucker by the time I got out of the academy.
Yeah.
I didn't know a goddamn thing, but I
Nope.
fucking learned, and I knew to shut my mouth and pick up on things and do what I was told. And we get these dudes out here fucking walking around their break on their cell phone, chatting it up, eating fucking Doritos on their fucking breaks, little fat fucks. Dude, it was crazy. Fucking crazy. Like, I'm telling you, just the culture up here is weird. And so I worked in this state.
Yeah.
I came up from California and I was like, I don't like cold weather, dude. I'm a fucking pussy. I don't like cold weather. So I was like, all right, I'm going to get a job in the fucking jails here. I'm like, I worked the fucking jail as a supervisor to jail
Right.
down there. I can fucking do this shit, dude. I walk in, the guy that, like the training he was like the training instructor, whatever, training scheduling. That's the job that I came from last. I'd promoted up and I had a sweet little cush desk job where I told everybody else what the fuck to do. So I come up and the undersheriff is from LA and he's telling this dude, hey, this guy's going to take your job. So I come in, the dude fucking hates me. He already hates me, which is fine. And I'm being humble. Hey, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I walk in there. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Everybody's like, dude, you got like 16 years on. Why are you yes, sir? I'm like, it's just how I fucking do
Right.
things. Dude. It's culture.
Yeah.
It's what was bred into me, dude. And I'm trying to get
Yeah.
along with these people. And this guy's telling me how he's a fucking dairy farmer on the side. This guy's telling me how he does fucking roofs. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I find out that I'm making $27 an hour. Okay. And they brought me into step 7. These other dudes are making $21 an hour. So they all have to have
Whoa.
fucking side jobs, and they've been there for fucking 5-6 years, dude.
So in the time we've been doing the show, Chuck and John and I have learned this because we've interviewed cops and firefighters from all over the country. The military is the military, right? The federal government pays what they pay,
Yeah.
right? We all know the big green weenie is going to get you one way or the other. They pay shit and whatever. The cops and the firefighters across this country, the pay gaps and the protections they have are so huge compared to California even. And growing up, I knew this. I was told California is the tip of the spear. California leads the way in law enforcement. California had the peace officer standards and training first, post-commission, all that stuff. And as messed up as California is, there are so many other places that are way worse. Well, then you interview these guys and they're like, yeah, I have to have a side job or I don't make enough to survive. And I'm a full-time police officer. Yeah. If I piss the chief off, I can just be fired. There is no peace officer bill of rights. You piss the wrong person off, you're fucking gone, right? There are some agencies, you get injured in the line of duty, that's tough shit. There is no medical retirement. It's workers' comp or nothing.
No,
And it's mind-boggling to me
It's crazy. They don't fucking say it's crazy to me just how the other agencies handle things. It's wild. Like I can't, and it's funny coming from California. You're just like, this place
took it
sucks.
for granted a little bit,
oh, 110%.
Absolutely. I mean, I'll say it, and you know what? At this point, I guess I don't really care if I disrespect anyone because it just is what it is. But like, I feel like
you've had a bad week.
Yeah, I just I feel like I went from playing in the major leagues to T-ball.
Oh yeah,
that's what I feel like. Literally, like, hey, dude, you suck now, so you're gonna go to the minors. Actually, you suck even more, so you're just gonna go play T-ball and hit a ball off a fucking post.
Oh dude,
that's what you're gonna.
Well, it's almost like you're like, the major leagues aren't worth it because I want to protect my family and spend some time with my family.
Sure.
And I don't want to be on the road so much, but I can go play minor league ball. They probably play the same game. Turns out they don't play the same game.
No. And it's so funny because just like with him coming up here and having this experience in a new place, I wasn't even in my lateral FTO bullshit that I had to do. And I remember sitting in my first roll call and they have their table set up and I pulled a chair out and I put it off to the side in the back against a wall and I sat there. And I remember them walking in and they're like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Waiting for roll call to start."
Right.
No, you can say, "Dude, you got 10 years on. You could sit here." I'm like, but I haven't even gone through FTO yet. What are you talking about? They're like, no. We don't do any of that stuff here.
Right.
And I was like, what? And then basically, long story short, it's just the same shit. Like, there's no yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. Like, it's none of that shit. And it's crazy because now we do have a group of like Cali cops that are where I work, and now the trainees that are coming in, they know the group of guys they need to be respectful around.
Right.
And that's how it should be. And it's crazy because they'll come in, they're respectful to us, and then they go call a lieutenant by his first name.
Dude,
and I'm like,
oh my God.
It's the wildest fucking
it's
thing.
wild.
Dude.
Do you think that a lot of these cops, right, that are up there, you feel like you're going and you're like, oh, I came up here from working, playing pro. Now I'm back to fucking below the minor leagues. Do you think it's just because it's a lack of experience or a lack of like dangerous calls on the regular, and it's more of like the mundane and kind of like a slower paced atmosphere?
Put a pin in that because we haven't even gotten Justin's story on how he got into law enforcement, which normally we just jumped right into it, and I realized we usually give you a chance. So for the audience, how did you get into law enforcement? What drew you to it? How long?
Can we pause for 1 second?
There you go.
Charlie, real quick. That was a really good question. Can I say Charlie on here?
Yeah.
Oh,
Chuck.
Chuck. Sorry. Okay. That was a really good question, and that should be another episode within itself because I can talk about that for days.
That's a long. Yeah. That's a long.
Well, let's come back to that, and we'll set it up for another episode.
So many olive branches, man.
Yeah. So let's start with Justin. How did you? What age were you when you got into it? And how did you get into it? And then where did you come from? Share as much as you can about, so just so our audience gets a clearer picture. When you say California, you came from Southern California. You came from one of the largest sheriff's department in the world.
I would say the best sheriff's department in the world.
It's funny that you said that. Before I get into this one, just real quick. So when I was in that class over in the state that shall not be known, I'm sitting there and there's like 40 people there, and a lot of them are from different areas, but a lot of them are from that state, right? And so I'm sitting there, everybody's got to go, hey, where are you from? How long you done? Blah, blah, blah. So it comes to me and I say where I'm from and how long I've done, right? And everybody's like, oh, okay, cool. Goes to the next person. One dude gets up. He's from Tulare County down in California. Comes up, fucking taps me on the shoulder. He goes, hey, dude, that's the baddest fucking agency in the country. These motherfuckers don't know. You're a bad motherfucker. I was like, fucking respect, dude. Finally get some respect, dude.
So check this out. It's funny that you should mention that because my old man retired from LAPD, and Elliot probably has the same kind of thing. So he retired and then got a job teaching for the state of California at a training institute. Doesn't matter. Most people won't know it, but you probably do. CSTI. He's trained at CSTI for 15 years. And then from there, he went and taught for the Naval Postgraduate Institute, and he went to Guam, he went to Kiev, he went to all these different foreign countries teaching emergency preparedness, anti-terrorism, all the shit he did for LAPD. When he would go, he would inevitably get up in front of the class and have to give his background,
his
right?
resume.
Yeah, so you get up and you tell him, this is how not full of shit I am. And as soon as they would go to a break, people from other countries would come up and ask him, do you have your LAPD badge with you? Can I see it?
That's fucking awesome.
And LAPD and LA Sheriff carry this reputation, this mystique, this glamour, for lack of a better term, because that's, I mean, Adam 12 and TV shows and movies and all these other things, the news, you know, everybody wants to be close to a guy who did that or was there.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of prestige around that area. And I guess we'll just say it. I used to work at LA County Sheriff since we already put it out there. But yeah, it was, you know, the biggest
fuck it, you don't work there now.
No, I don't fucking work there, and I'm not going back. I do have 2 years to go back though if I get bored. But,
I've heard there are people that will like, I gotta go back.
My buddy from Texas, dude, he went to Texas and he's like, these fucking laws are out of control. I'm fucking out of here. He's like, it's scary. I can't put my hands on people. And I was like,
real quick,
I get that.
Check this out. So I have some friends in the LAPD, right? And dudes who have left over 2 years ago are now getting letters in the fucking mail or by email or whatever, asking them to come back.
It's like fucking, they want your old car, dude.
We'll give you back everything. We'll give you everything back. Just come back. We'll put you through a little condensed little academy, just a refresher, and you guys just come back, please. Is basically the way it reads. And because I have my hands on the letter, I just think it's funny. Like, you have 2 years, but when that 2 years is up, you know, I mean, it's California, right? So if they're anything like now, if they're anything like now, like the LAPD, you might be getting a letter in the mail, dude. Like, hey, man, it's been 4 years. Please come back.
Well, so it's interesting how far they've fallen then, because when my old man retired, he said in the personnel office where you go put in your paperwork to retire or to leave or to lateral out or to do whatever you're going to do, he said that famously they have had framed letters up on the wall of that office from cops who had left and had written back and begged to come back to LAPD and said, I didn't mean to leave. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. May I please have my job back? And if you sent that letter and they'd give you your job back, but they'd take your letter, they'd frame it and put it on the wall because it was a point of pride for them. They ain't getting those letters anymore.
Dude. Well, I mean, fuck, after they exposed everybody's names and addresses and all that shit, I'm sure they're fucking... Yeah, that's another episode.
Anyway, so Chuck, you brought up a good question, and I think John's right. I think that question deserves a whole hour just unto itself, because there is hell, I didn't work at an agency that had half the shit that some of your agencies did. But I still did more than a lot of other guys I know who didn't do police work even in California. Sure. And they go, oh, you did this and you did that and you did. I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, you haven't? And I was at a small agency.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
So
yeah, it's a different culture. The whole everything about it.
Yeah. So for those of you that have done police work outside of California and never done it inside of California, man, it's.
We're not talking shit about you. You can't.
You don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
And we feel bad for you. Like,
it's just slower.
There are other states. I used to look. You look at these old pictures of NYPD when they would, like, their shirts would be open and gold chains and chest hair, and their belts would be cockeyed sideways and no keepers. And
that was what, the 76. When they could afford the gold chains,
right? It was terrible. Now they're not like that anymore. I'm just saying there are agencies that are still.
Oh yeah.
Like that. Oh yeah. But then there's other things where it's like, there's an agency up here, and I think your agency, they wear these jumpsuits.
Mm-hmm. Oh, dude, I got one of those. I got one of those, like fucking pajamas.
They're cool as fuck. They're the most comfortable thing I've ever worn.
It's like
you guys got jumpsuits. Probably leather jumpsuits, right?
Dude, I was vouching for those in LA for the longest time. I was like, dude, I'm working the jail as a supervisor. Give me a jumpsuit, bro. I'll go butt naked, just throw that bad boy on. Dude. They're fucking.
And when I'm talking about a jumpsuit, I mean this thing has so many goddamn pockets. It has a built-in taser holster. Dude. It has the pockets have pockets.
Yeah,
literally.
Like it zips up 17 different ways. You can zip the sleeves on and off.
Dude,
that's actually good. Yeah, you're right. It's a tactical snuggie.
That's literally what
it is. And you can get different weights. Like I said, I'm a bitch. I was scared of the cold, so I got the heavyweight. And they're like, don't get the heavyweight. I'm like, dude, bitch. Like, I'm telling you right now. I get the heavyweight, dude. It's fleece lined.
Yep.
Oh, dude. Pure sex. It's pure sex, man. It's awesome. But yeah, the only downfall is trying to take shit.
Oh,
because dude, like if you got one fucking
because they don't have the old butt flap
so you have to unzip it and you have to grab one shoulder, grab the other shoulder, and fucking pray you can squeeze out of it.
Oh,
yeah, dude. It's if you're having
imagine getting fucking because I got I got some tainted food, bro, one night, and we're coming down from, really far deep in Los Angeles, and we're trying to make our way back to our station. And I get in the car and I'm like, oh, fuck, bro. Like, there's something wrong. Like, I can pull off at this station over here. I was like, no. Fucking punch it, dude. Go code too high. We need to get the fuck back to the station. I'm fucking ripping my belt off.
A real bathroom. But
And
you know what?
I'm
That's
fucking
another thing. The struggle of getting your belt off.
Yeah.
Dude.
Well, this
I
one you
fucking
gotta
tossed that bitch in the hallway. I was like, I don't care. And I fucking blew the bathroom up for about an hour. I can only imagine trying to take off a fucking jumpsuit and just shitting your pants.
Oh yeah. The girls have them. They're like, I guess it zips up underneath the crotch.
Oh.
And I'm like, dude, I need a girl's jumpsuit. Yeah, they have fucking zippers going to the crotch. Then you just spread their fucking cheeks and do their business.
Can I just get that same zipper
Right?
configuration? without the
We'll
hips?
make it go up like another 8 inches.
This is 2023.
Right? Out of
We
control.
need that.
Equal opportunity.
Right?
So you came up, you started working for LA County Sheriff. How old, in the jails, obviously, because that's how you started back then.
So yeah, so I have an interesting family dynamic. My parents are divorced. My dad and his whole family.
You're my same generation, aren't we all?
Yeah. So my dad and his
fuck,
whole
me too.
family are not my dad necessarily, but like my grandfather, my uncles, all outlaw bikers.
Oh.
All from the outlaw gang in Columbus, Ohio. My grandfather did 5 years for robbing a bank. Like my dad, I used to.
So you were born with street cred,
dude. I used to bail my dad out of jail.
So you're the white sheep of the family.
Dude, when I became a cop, my dad's like, "You're a fucking rat now. You're a snitch. I can't believe you're gonna be a fucking snitch. Swear to God." Then the motherfucker started seeing my paychecks, and he's like, "Oh yeah, my son's a cop." Fucking,
right?
Yeah. I was like, "All right, dude."
Okay.
Nah, but he's gotten on board in his old age, but he wasn't too happy right off the bat. But I ended up I was doing real estate and working for Warner Brothers for a little while and doing all kinds of shit. And I grew up in an apartment. And I was always like, dude, I got to find something to make money. Like I grew up in an apartment for like 18 years.
I don't want to be.
I want to be better than this.
It's just above the poverty line.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Well, especially now, So I was always fiending to find that job. So I had like fucking 12 jobs by the time I was 20. Like I was fucking trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. I have my real estate license, all kinds of stuff. So my uncle was a lieutenant for the sheriff's department, and he's like, "Come do a ride along with me." So
was this your mom's brother?
It's my mom's sister's husband. Uncle-in-law, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, no. I was trying to figure out if your dad is a biker and then his brother is a lieutenant.
Opposite side.
Okay.
My mom's the fucking flower child side.
Okay,
The other
got
side,
it, got it.
But so my uncle's like, all right, come do a ride along. So I went with him to Malibu. And I'm like, all right. So we're doing our thing. And I'm like, this is fucking boring, dude. And he's like, all right. He's like, go with my buddy in Compton. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah, right.
So I went to Compton. I get done. I'm like, this is the best fucking thing I've ever done in my life, dude. We're going to chase some dude down. We're fucking talking to the hookers. Like, this is great. This is fucking great. So I put in my app. I got hired on in 2006, I believe. 2006. I worked at the jail for like a year. I worked Supermax. Had a great time.
Downtown or out?
No,
North
out,
LA.
Up in North. It's not there anymore.
NCCF?
No, Eastmax. So it was not Supermax, excuse me, but it was all. They were all fucking killers.
Yeah.
And I'm fucking 20 years old. I walk in, they're screaming blood. 21 years old. I walk in, screaming blood coming down the fucking hallway. I had no idea. I had nightmares for like 2 weeks, dude. Because they hazed they hazed the shit out of me too.
Of course,
it was awesome. It was fucking great.
Right. But that's good for you.
Yeah, it was great. It was. I mean, my first shift, dude. I walk up to the floor. There's 120 inmates in this dorm, 120 inmates in the dorm next door. The dude who's there is, here's my keys. I'm going to the gym for 4 hours. Fucking good luck. Walks out. And I'm like,
240 killers.
Fuck. Dude, and they're like, I'm like, dude, I don't know what the fuck to do. The inmates are coming up like, hey, what's up, fish? And I'm like, what's up, guys? Like, they're like, we know you don't know what the fuck to do. This is what you need to do. The fucking inmates told me what to do. And it was just, it's a respect-based organization. Right. You treat them like shit, they'll treat you like shit.
Because they know if they fuck you over, then the goon squad's going to come in and cave their fucking heads in.
Exactly. But it was cool. I got through it. And a lot of guys didn't get through it, which is fine. Fuck them.
Exactly.
But so I worked there for a year, and then I enjoyed it. But at the time that I came on, if you didn't go to patrol, like you were forced to go to patrol, right? And so if you went to patrol and you didn't make it, you got rolled up, sent back to the jails. You got a year. You had to stay in the jail for a year and study, and you went back out to patrol. If you didn't make it, you got fired. So I was like, I'm not fucking losing this job, dude. So I went out.
It's different now.
Oh, it's fucking so different.
You can stay in the jail forever.
Dude, that's what fuck, dude. Come on.
All right.
Kush.
Yeah.
But so I left the jail. I went out to the good old Antelope Valley. I got off training there. 6 months. 6 months on training, patrol training. Great fucking time. Hard fucking time. Long
for
fucking
the listeners,
hours.
when you think of the Antelope Valley, anytime you see a movie or a TV show about LA and they show them driving them out to the middle of the fucking desert to shoot them, like Breaking Bad, like style, middle of the desert.
Yeah.
That's the Antelope Valley.
Yeah.
There isn't a single fucking antelope out there. There might have been at one point.
Yeah.
But it's nothing but meth
dude.
labs and Lake Los Angeles.
Fuck, dude.
There is no water in Lake Los Angeles.
But there's legitimately packs of wild fucking pit bulls that run around in the middle of the night.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was sitting at the intersection and I hear fucking roar and I look up.
Right.
There's like 15 fucking pit bulls running around wild.
Right. And so you're talking like I want to just paint a picture for people. When you get to certain parts of the Antelope Valley, you're talking about like, where's the call? Well, it's Avenue R and 175th Street.
Yeah. The longest I rolled code was 35 minutes.
Yeah.
From the city out to a deputy involved in a fight out there.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it was
So
fucking
I just want to
dude.
paint the picture for people when they're like Antelope Valley. That sounds like El Dorado Estates. It's it's just a housing tract. No, motherfucker.
No.
It was so far out there. I literally turned off my siren because there was nobody there and I was getting a fucking headache.
And it gets annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're going like a buck 30.
Yep.
And you're like, fuck, dude, this is just
Well,
it's
you don't
annoying.
need
You're
it.
over driving the siren anyway, so it wouldn't really matter because you would pass a car and then they would hear it. You know what I mean? So it's fuck it, whatever. Turn it off.
There's nobody fucking out there except for fucking
Pear Blossom?
yeah.
Were you
Yeah,
going up Pear Blossom?
Yeah, way the fuck out
Okay.
there. But so
they're trying to make that place a lot better now.
are
But
they?
just imagine Breaking Bad, but like 100 fucking trailers in the middle of the desert. That's parts of the Antelope Valley.
Oh yeah. Oh dude, well,
Breaking Bad with more white trash.
Well, so Lake LA, literally, I rolled up to a call and I'm like, this place is so fucking hillbilly. And I look down, this dude's got fucking 6 toes on one foot. I'm like, I'm fucking
What?
I'm calling 6 toes on one foot, dude. And I'm like, all right, this is some inbred backwoods shit.
Yeah.
And the crazy part about that out there is like, it's only a community of maybe like 16 blocks altogether, 16 different streets, right? But it's just fucking crackhead central. We had a drug dealer out there. His name was Wheels. He had no fucking legs. He drove an electric scooter and he had a fucking Mac 10 underneath his ass.
Hell yeah.
And we'd have to pick him up out of his chair, take his fucking Mac 10, take his dope, take him to jail, and he'd get out fucking 2 weeks later and be out doing it again.
Yep.
But
Good old days.
That's the kind of place where you just avoid going.
Yeah,
Unless
no.
you're- Yeah.
And there's no fucking lake.
Right.
There's no lake.
They call it Lake Los Angeles.
Yeah, there was a lake in like the fucking 50s.
I think they planned on having a lake.
I
and
think
there
they
was
fucking
water
mirage,
at one
bro.
point.
There was.
But
Now
anyway.
now it's a show.
So you're working out in the armpit of Southern California.
Yeah, which I had never been to before I went to
Really?
patrol. What I heard was I wanted to go work Compton. I really wanted to work Compton. I was like, fuck yeah, dude, I'm gonna go work Compton. I'm gonna go arrest a bunch of gangsters. Somebody's like, hey, have you been in Antelope Valley? No. I go, there's fucking more gangsters out there than there are in Compton. And I was like, all right.
Oh yeah.
And so we had wait lists at the time. So to go to Compton, I would have to stay in custody for like 5 years.
Right.
To go to Antelope Valley, I had to wait 6 months because nobody fucking
Nobody
wanted to go there.
out there. Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I'm fucking 22. I'm a young buck, dude. I'll go out and fucking bust my ass. I got no family, no kids, none of that shit. So I'm like, cool. So I went out there working. I mean, dude, even off training, I was working 16 hours a day. But on training, I worked. My longest day was 23 hours, and I got paid for 8 of them because you don't ask for fucking overtime.
No, it's okay.
Damn,
yes,
that's
and that's
old
the thing
school right there.
It's not legal.
It's not legal.
You don't open your fucking
but
mouth.
you don't do it. Now these motherfuckers, they don't give a shit. And I'm kind of okay with that.
Yeah. It's not right what they did.
Thinking of all the free money I gave to the fucking county, but at the same time, it's all about your reputation too.
Right.
You
And
know?
you shouldn't be throwing trainees in the trunk of the car. And
See, that never happened to me. But it happened during my time.
Right.
And at my station, there was one dude who was famous for hitting his trainee, like slapping him upside the fucking head. So I had to ride with that dude one time, and he's a 6'5", fucking just big old fucking dude, And so I told him, I go, hey, sir, I'll do whatever the fuck you want. I'll do anything you want. Do not put your fucking hands on me. Don't fucking hit me. If I fuck up, tell me. I'll fucking do whatever you need. Any extra work, anything you want to fuck me over, that's fine. Don't put your fucking hands on me. And we had a great fucking day. My buddy who came on training with me got the shit knocked out of him every fucking day, dude. Every day, dude. He had a scar on his leg because the dude, we had the MDC, so the old
the big
orange
box,
computers,
yeah.
and you could slide. And the dude, whenever he got pissed off, he'd fucking slam it into him. And by the time he got off training, dude, he fucking had a big old welt on his fucking leg. It was awesome.
Oh fuck.
It was awesome.
So was that when you were out there? Is that the craziest shit?
That was the
time of your
craziest.
career?
That was. It was the busiest. It was. Dude, I can remember times like just thinking back, like one of my fucking pastimes is I'm on the wrong side of the road. I'm driving fucking code 3 to an assault with deadly weapon call, and I'm fucking talking on my cell phone, which is above my head, and I'm talking on the mic.
Right.
And I'm like, this is fucking awesome, dude. But the night just fucking flew by, call to call. I mean, you get shit like that, but the shit out there is like, gangster on gangster. It's
Right.
the typical shit you're gonna run into. Like it's straight up
So no crime.
like LA. Yeah, no, absolutely. Because that's racist.
NHI. It's like,
Well,
no humans involved.
Yeah, because so for people to understand, there was a big push when LAPD and some of LA Sheriff was really, the Crips and the Bloods at the height of the red and blue, colors, all that shit.
Yeah.
There was a big push to get them out of LA. And they were basically pricing them out of Hollywood and pricing them.
Well, you know what else happened was the Olympics.
And yes, so they pushed a ton of gangsters out of LA, and they realized they could take their 2-bedroom cottage in Compton and sell it and buy a 4-bedroom brand new house in Palmdale.
Yep.
And these were all houses that were going up because at one point there was supposed to be an international airport out there. They were putting in the mall, Edwards Air Force Base, all the aerospace industries out there. So then you ended up with this town that literally the west side is all people in the aerospace industry making a shit ton of money and working for the government. And the east side is all low class of varying degrees of
It's just LA relocated.
Right.
That's all it is.
100%.
And the further out,
fucking Compton.
you go, it's like you got the white trash, and then you got like there's different pockets of different ethnicities, but they're all poor trash on one side,
Yeah.
and then you got the pockets of different ethnicities on the west side, but they're all making good money.
Yeah, it's a trip. I used to tell people, I'm like, so the northwest corner of Lancaster, you got your whites and a few Hispanics,
Right.
mainly, or a few blacks. The southwest side of what would be Palmdale, so it's also, Antelope Valley, is mainly your white or, upper middle class Hispanics. Your east side of Palmdale is mainly all fucking Hispanic, and then your northeast side of Lancaster is all black.
Right.
All black gangsters.
Right.
And I mean, not your hardworking, I'm talking your thugs, you're fucking driving around on, 32-inch fucking wheels in your Cadillac.
Afro Man.
Dude, Afro Man living fucking
I
Palmdale, dude.
know.
Yep.
I think he still does.
Probably.
Probably, dude. He's probably,
Fucking put that bitch on the map.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I had a fucking blast, dude, running around with it. And thinking back on it, dude, I was like 22, 23, running around chasing gangsters with a fucking gun. Now I look back on it, I'm like, what the fuck, dude? How do they fucking pay me for that shit, dude? I had a fucking blast, dude. Just having a great fucking time, and these dudes, like, some of the gangsters out there, man, they're fucking scary, dude. I remember driving through dark alleys by myself, dude, coming up on some dudes. You see fucking monsters, man.
So if I say to you, think back to a moment where you're like having a great time, you're on the call, you're doing the call, and then you get done with it, you're like, holy shit, did that really just happen?
Oh yeah, dude. Fucking.
How did I survive?
Oh yeah. So we're standing at this. We're fucking bored, which is very rare there.
Right.
It's like 3 a.m. There's like 3.
Yeah, you're going call to call to call
Yeah.
to call, right?
But so it's like 3 a.m. It's getting colder, so all the fucking savages pretty much stay in the house for the most part. And we're standing at this fucking doorstep, and this lady's reporting her fucking car stolen. And I'm not handling the call, so I'm kind of looking around. And here comes a fucking car driving by that she's reporting stolen. My partner's driving. I'm the fucking bookman. And that's very rare too. We're usually single man cars. But I'm like, hey, dude, that's the car. So we jump in the fucking hoop. We're chasing this car through the fucking hood. Like, I'm sure you know where it's at, like Avenue I and like fucking 6th or 7th Street fucking west, right? Just
dude.
garbage, dude. King
Right
Tree.
near Division?
Yeah, King Tree area. So we're chasing this car through these little side streets, and the dude's fucking ramming into cars all over the fucking place, dude. All over the fucking place. And so my partner's there, we're right fucking behind him. We're like King Tree and I. And the dude fucking jumps out of the car and lets it fucking just keep rolling. And then he runs in front of our car. So I jump out of our fucking car as a bookman while it's still rolling. And we're running down through just straight up what you would think looks like a Compton house. We're running between a wall and a fucking house. And it's pure dark. Our suspect's a black male adult, so I can't fucking see him. So we're chasing him, and I got my fucking big old Beretta out at the time.
Right.
And I don't have a flashlight on it. This is before flashlights on guns and shit. I left my
And even then, you guys weren't allowed to have them.
Yeah, well, I left my fucking flashlight in the fucking car.
Yeah, it was
so
a
I'm
big
running.
Streamlight SL20.
Yeah, and so I'm swinging with my Beretta, trying to fucking contact something. And in the middle of the fucking dark, boom, I hit him right in the fucking head. And I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. So I holster up. The fight's fucking on. Then here comes the fucking goon squad, right? Comes in because I can't see shit. Here's flashlights. I'm fighting with this fucking parolee. We get him hooked up. We get him out, and we fucking hook him up. And we fucking put the fucking mollywop on him. And he's in the back. He's in the back seat of the car. And he must have been like an OG gangster because when they went to interview him, they're like, "What happened?" He's like, "I fucked up. I got what I deserved." I was like, fuck yeah, dude. But like thinking about it, I'm like, fuck, dude, I couldn't see shit. I didn't know if this dude had a fucking strap on him, nothing. It was just fucking go. You know, it was just rabbit, you know, just the habit of, you know, when being on training, they say fucking fetch, you fucking fetch. So I wasn't on training, but I still had that fucking momentum to go chase this fucking dude down. And, you know, just thinking about it, I'm like, I could have went fucking south.
Isn't that the best when you get into a foot pursuit or you get into a fight and it's with someone who respects the old ways and you hook them up and take them into custody and then they go for the interview and they're like, what happened? They're like, nothing.
Yeah. But that's very few and far between anymore.
Yeah. That's the thing.
I would say non-existent probably anymore.
Dude, they're all crybaby.
Yeah.
You know, because they just flood the fucking, you know, they flood the media with it. You're a victim. You're a victim. You're a victim. Police brutality, blah, blah, blah. You know, even though you're a fucking shithead running and fighting with the police.
You see all the guys, they start to get a whooping in this. I can't breathe. Or he's on my neck.
Oh, especially now, dude.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Especially now.
That's a lot of the wannabe gangsters, though. You know what I mean? Because, like,
But
I know I've dealt with it. I know John's dealt with it. I definitely know you've dealt with it. I've fucking tangled with some OG gangsters or some ones that were taught by some OGs that were let out of prison because they were let out early. And they had a different mentality than a lot of the other like pood butts you would deal with that were, you know, up and coming or new or whatever. But they were just like a newer generation.
They're like the fucking millennials of gangsters.
So it's funny because we talk about old school police work and the old school way of being a cop. And then we talk about these young cops coming up. But I remember dealing with, we had this informant. He was old school Piru blood. Like he had relocated, you know, he was still like, he was semi-retired. Let's put it that way. Yeah. Right. He wasn't out, you know, making ends every day. But, you know, when shit came down, he would do his thing. But he would also put us on some amazing cases. He put us on a bank robbery caper that the FBI and the LAPD couldn't solve. Yeah. But he knew who was doing it. And they were, do you guys remember the Big Money Bandits?
Yeah.
Yeah. He put us onto the Big Money Bandits and our little task force took him down, right?
Yeah.
So this guy was OG, but he would talk about the young, you know, up and comers. I remember, so my partner took him into the hood and they gave, the DA was like, hey, we want to give your informant some money to go buy crack. We want to get 2 ounces of crack. And so he goes in, he's waiting, gives him the money, whatever. The mule takes the money and disappears on a bike. And the DA's like flipping out like 2 hours later, like, where's the money? Where's the money? Where's the money? So they text the informant and he's like, hey, I don't know. We're waiting. And then no sooner than the drug dealer gets a phone call and it's the local freaking guys that run that area. And they're like, you haven't paid your taxes, partner. And they hadn't paid their hood tax. And so the mule had gotten his ass kicked and they took the $900 and didn't give him shit for crack and told the fucking guys, you want your boy, you better go pick him up at the hospital because we beat his fucking ass for not paying his hood tax and you ain't getting your $900 and you ain't getting no crack cocaine either. And the guy came out of the house and the DA's like, where's our fucking money? And he's like, you ain't getting your money. Like but that's the old school like gangster. And he was so I think that you're right, the millennial gangsters are he called them Thundercats. He said they're out there, you know, trying to make a name for themselves, but they don't have the OG heart.
Yeah, they're just, they like the culture of it. They like, you know, what it's all about. They like the easy money, but they're not bad motherfuckers like the other ones were.
Right.
They're not. Right. They're fucking. They all bitch up.
You know, and I got, you know, at the end of my California career, I got to work a super OG gang for a few years, and building a relationship with a lot of the guys that ran that city. I mean, you can literally have some little poo butt disrespect you and just be like, all right, no problem. And then go to the big homie's house and be like, hey, so-and-so just told me to fuck off. I need you to deal with that. We got you.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, that's just how it rolled. Like, that's how it worked. And the next time you saw that kid, you best believe they were assuming the position before you even got out of that fucking car.
Well, we used to say that if you come across some dude who's legit, like you come across a dude and you're like, fuck this motherfucker, and then you got other guys you come across, you're like, okay, this guy's legit, right?
Yeah.
And you go sit down, and he sits down, crosses his ankles out in front of him, and puts his hands, you know, out, and you're like, okay. And we used to say, you could say a silent prayer to the cop, thanking him for the guy that whooped his ass last time, so that he knows now. You better show some respect when the police. Yeah, you always know them because
the police. Yep. Yeah,
when the come knocking at your door, we've gotten We've gotten very far away from that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But
From
cops
both
have
sides.
gotten away.
Both
yeah,
sides.
exactly.
Too. Yeah, it's
exactly.
both sides.
Yeah.
There's a guy. So he was a lieutenant of ours. Came from L.A. He and my dad knew each other. Never worked together. He said that he had a partner who liked to box, and he would look. And this is late 70s, early 80s, and he'd look at suspects, that needed to go to jail. And he had everything he needed to hook him up, and he'd be like, all right, check it out. I'm going to take my belt off, and we're going to box. And if you beat me, you can go free. But if I beat you, you got to go to jail without complaint, and you can never tell nobody about this shit. And they would be like, fuck yeah, all right, fuck it. And they would box, and he would fucking thump them up. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
Like he would
just
put your belt back on, get in the car. That was the deal.
Yep.
And
Some end to watch shit.
Yeah. Can you imagine that shit now, though?
no,
There's no fucking way.
no.
Even the end to watch shit, that's way too recent.
That
It's
is way too recent.
Well,
Hollywood, man.
Yeah, they tried to put a lot of the OG mentality into it, but it's just like that doesn't happen anymore.
They did a good,
There was
pretty
a-
good job.
No, they did.
I hated the fucking gangsters they picked though. Jesus Christ, the casting for that.
I know.
Central casting. Can I have the
God,
usual?
dude.
The usual.
I'd like a number 2, please.
Yeah. Fucking funny, dude.
After that movie came out, there was a few coppers who decided to try to do that shit. Dude, they got shit canned so quick because the gangsters fucking
Exactly.
rolled on them so fast.
Oh yeah, dude.
like,
You
Like
can't
that's
trust
just
these-
not the mentality anymore. Yeah.
No, but like you were saying, Justin, it's both sides too because of the things that are going on, in law enforcement in general and just how soft things are going. How do you take so like one of the things that I care about the culture a lot, and I think that the culture that you came up in, I got the ass end of. I know Charlie LAPD. I'm pretty sure it was probably the same way still back then to a certain degree. What you came up in, that stuff taught you how to survive.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like, and now it doesn't, sadly. And like, we're talking about here, for example, right? Dude, you got these kids that are just like, dude, I just found a fucking joint, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
That's fucking legal.
Who fucking cares, dude?
So you know what it reminds me of is, okay, so I went to the jail one time, and we had a college town, and that college town was highest paid agency in the county, right? They had a huge university there, lots of money in the town. But because of that, the city council was always pressured by rich mommies and daddies and business owners not to fuck too hard with the college kids, because that was, downtown and bread and butter and bars and restaurants and all that shit. So these poor fucking cops would go to party calls and take rocks and bottles and couldn't do shit about it.
Yeah.
And then they call the sheriff's department, and the fucking joke was, holy shit, it's the sheriff's department, and they're not wearing name tags.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah.
and the sheriff's department didn't give a fuck, right? So it was one of those, like, we had both visible on display at all times in our city, and there wasn't the cops that they wanted to do something about it, but they had chosen to go work for a gutless agency.
Yeah.
And some guys were like, I'll take the huge fat paycheck and be disrespected. Well, I went to the jail, and 647F of the Penal Code, for those of you who don't know, in California is drunk in public, and so we would just say F, right? We would just say he's F, and you're taking him for drunk in public. Well, we would use that as a solve a problem charge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, you're a fucking asshole.
Like,
You look like you're under the influence.
Oh, yeah.
You're
You look drunk.
assholing in a no assholing zone.
Yeah, exactly.
647F.
Especially the short form.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas the college guys, that was a real charge on the regular that they were hooking people up for because they were stumbling through the middle of the street after doing, the pub crawl.
Yeah.
And so I remember I was booking a guy, and in the same night I'm booking him, and I walk in the jail, and I'm booking a guy for felony domestic violence and beat the shit out of his wife. And I heard a highway patrolman bragging about how he was booking somebody for driving on a suspended license. And I'm like, all right, that's an asshole charge. And then the sergeant who was in charge of intake goes, hey, you, Gandy. And I said, yeah. And he goes, what are you bringing your guy in for? I said, 273.5. And he goes, turns to the college town guy, and he goes, see, in his city, F stands for felony. And it's one of those things where if you don't work in an area to Chuck's point, and I think to your point, John, if you a joint is braggable if that's the biggest worst thing you've ever come across, whereas I've probably crushed more joints under my boot than I've ever written. I don't know that I've ever written a case
crack,
on a joint.
Cocaine,
right?
Heroin, all of it.
Right.
It reminds me. Did you guys ever see that photo that came out online and it had like those 4 podunk cops and they're standing around this table?
Yes.
There's like $7 on the table and like a joint.
Yes.
You just look at him and you go, give it back to God, dude.
Yeah.
Give it back to the earth.
Yeah.
They're like, what? You're like, give it back to the fucking earth now. And they're like, fuck, man. They took it in the dirt and they just fucking grind that shit back in. You're like, see? There we go.
You can make good decisions.
Get the fuck out of here.
You always, nowadays and age, you always got to make sure that they break it on their own accord. I had a friend.
No, because you'll get fucked for destruction of evidence.
I had a friend who fucking, she had to end up going to court for it because they fucking said she destroyed evidence. When it was,
Fuck.
I knew a gal who got fired, and this is felony dumb on her part. She did a pee test on somebody, and it came back negative. So she's like, well, it's fucking negative. Boop, in the toilet. Flushed it. Got fired. And they're like, you destroyed exculpatory evidence because you had arrested the person for under the influence.
Was it a righteous mistake?
She fucked up.
Oh.
She in her mind, she was like, well, I'm going to cut this guy loose. He's not under the influence. I don't need the evidence anymore. Boop, threw it in the toilet, flushed it.
Evidence of the non-crime.
I feel like there might be something more there, though. You know what I mean? Like, he was under the microscope for something.
Yeah. Was she from Tennessee? Was there other guys that are stationed that were?
Oh, my God. Well, and this is not to dog on guys that work areas where not a lot goes on, right?
No.
You have chosen the profession, right? That's a big step right there. It's the same thing with like going into the military and guys are like, well, you're in comms or you're in this or you're in that. Yeah, you fucking joined up. You signed on the dotted line.
Yeah.
You're doing the fucking job. That's not the issue. We're not even dogging on the guys, but there's I think, a level of self-awareness that is lacking.
Well, it's the mentality,
right?
And it's not necessarily just the mentality of the PD. It's the mentality of where these people come from, how they were raised, so on and so forth. They become cops to do a good thing, which is fucking great. I'm all about that, especially nowadays and age. Right. But then they get on and they're like, "Oh fuck, it's a joint." I'm like, "You need to go work in LA for fucking 2 months, dude. Just go work in LA, and then go back to your podunk place." You know what I'm saying? They need that exposure, so they don't have the life experience, and they join the podunk fucking PD, and they think this is the biggest goddamn thing that's ever happened to them. And I can understand that. I was raised in a fast city. I worked at a fast fucking place. Maybe if I was raised out in podunk fucking nowhere, I'd have the same experience. So you can't dog them for it. But at the end of the day, they did sign up to do the fucking job. So good on them, because who the fuck would do that nowadays?
Well, and that's the self-awareness part is, I think, and this is where training, right? This is where academy training, this is where FTO programs, this is where, to your point, John, the senior officers being respected and it was incumbent, it used to be like the senior officers would teach the fucking rookies their place.
But the problem with these places are the senior officers have been there for 30 years and they're also from the cow fields.
Right.
Not even, to that, yes, for the area that you're working now, but for the area that I was working in, you had these woke liberal training officers, and then they were letting their boots run the show, right? And I walk in one day and I'm like, "Hey, you said the other day in roll call you were allowed to grow your hair up because you refused to come out of long sleeves." And he's like, "Yeah." I said, "But you're wearing short sleeves today, so why the fuck is your hair that long? Why don't you go and cut it and have an actual trainee, like probationer haircut?" And his training officer on the other side, this female, and she was like fucking waving me off, like, "Fucking cut it, cut it, cut it." And I'm like, "What the fuck?" Down the road later, she was like, "Hey, he's gonna fucking beef the shit out of you. He's already beefed 3 other officers. There's a reason why we're not fucking with him. We're just let him do whatever he wants." And I'm like, that's the wrong fucking mentality. What the fuck is happening to this agency? You know what I mean? And I'm like, this is wild. And that was before the big push for like wokeism and stuff like that. And I think now it's affecting more of the United States and law enforcement in general.
Yeah.
We probably came on. I came on probably a year or two before you did.
I hate that when I came on.
Yeah.
Because when I came on, it was fucking game on.
It was prime time.
2 years later,
right?
Everything you've been taught, throw that shit out the window. Let's start patting people on the ass and
just
letting them go.
about to say, we came on at the very tail end of a great era of law enforcement.
Yeah.
And we were still working with guys that would put their foot up your ass sideways, and they taught me.
Yeah.
I learned how to be that kind of a cop. Now, I did the job right. Like I can honestly say I did the job the way the job is supposed to be done. I wasn't dirty. Was no freaking, no, what do they call it? No hits after the bell, like kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But it was, these are the rules. Thou shalt play by the rules, or thou shalt pay for the, play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
I mean, I've maybe met 2 dirty cops in my whole career that have gotten justifiably fired and went to fucking jail.
Correct.
Everybody else I've met, bad motherfuckers, all have the right mentality, the right heart to do the job of law enforcement. The problem is law enforcement is fucking swayed so much right now because of all the woke bullshit, all the fucking agendas going on in the news, that they're just force feeding this shit down. So you're losing all these veterans. You're losing all these bad motherfuckers that know how to take people to jail. And you're getting all these guys that are going to go out, not like I was saying earlier, when I went to that class, I hit up the dude, I go, hey, what happens when you send these fucking kids, these students out to the streets and some 300-pound parolee tells them to go fuck themselves when they tell him to put his hands behind his back? What are they going to do? And yeah, exactly. They don't know what the fuck to do because they didn't have the training. They didn't have the fucking the insight. They weren't, they didn't have the exposure to it.
I was going to say, you could just break it down to the very basic. They didn't even have to deal with a little bit of stress before they actually got the real thing.
Exactly.
I'll go even better.
And
the Freddie Grays, right?
Yeah.
The knees on the necks, the unjustified shootings, the panic fire, the why did you shoot him? You didn't need to shoot him, right? Some of these ass whippings. Fear, right? Fear is a very, very, very intoxicating drug. Only it intoxicates you the wrong way, and you make terrible, terrible fucking decisions. So if you can't keep your fucking head under pressure, you are going to make bad judgment calls, bad shootings, bad fights. You're gonna be panicked and not know what to do, and you're gonna fucking leave somebody on the ground and give them positional asphyxia. You're going to make bad fucking decisions because you're paralyzed by fear.
Santa Clarita deputy.
Well, I also think that's where a lot of like I'm not going to say corruption, but like contempt of cop shit. Like you have a dude who's never been stressed before. They have a parolee to go tell him to fuck himself. And then they get into a scuffle, and then homeboy just keeps fighting after the fact. And, it's all caught on camera, and he just whoops the fucking shit out of him, or utilizes some other shit or other means, and goes beyond that because they were never taught, hey, have thick skin. They're going to talk shit to you. They're going to call you names, but you can't let it affect the way that you're going to take people into custody. And if you allow that your emotions to conquer everything, and you go past that and you just beat the shit out of them for no fucking reason,
go watch Roadhouse.
You're going to have a problem. I think there's a lot of
that
going on, but
right.
It's more so for the camera situation, because every cop now in California is wired up.
Well, and you got to remember now the hiring practices are fucking null and void. Mm-hmm. You're going to hire any fucking dude off the street who's going to come in with anger management, this, and this. What do you think is going to happen when you let him fucking loose with a gun?
Right. I have asthma and ADD and ADHD
and this dude fucking pointing his finger at me. I have a gun. I'm going to fucking shoot him. Yeah. Oh, and now I make all cops look bad.
Right.
Like those dudes in fucking Tennessee. I don't know the full circs on it, but there was like 4 or 5 dudes that beat the shit out of some other dude. I think they might have killed him.
That was dirty.
Yeah,
that was dirty.
Yeah, supposedly one of the dude they fucking killed was banging the dudes. Well, you don't hire these fucking shitbirds in the first fucking place. Right. They were hired under some specific, like, let's boost the fucking let's lower the standards for this group of fucking people and see what they do.
I'm gonna
you know where they learned that?
Rafael Perez and David Mack.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. I was gonna say, you know where they learned that? Los Angeles.
It's you can't hire fucking gangsters the same way the military shouldn't recruit fucking MS-13 and shouldn't you have to vet people because you're giving them training, you're giving them weapons, you're giving them all these authority, you're giving them these things. But if their heart is not right, if they're a rotten fucking apple, you've just created a rotten fucking cop,
and you've just fucked our profession.
Yeah,
which seems to be an ongoing fucking issue nowadays.
Yeah.
And it sucks for all the guys. Yeah, it sucks for all the guys that have still have 10 years left, 20 years left on the fucking job,
God,
having to deal with all this shit.
You know what's crazy too is that they're lowering the standards so much, but they won't hire military. They're like, no, too much baggage. We don't want them. But then they're hiring the college kid or the one who can't withstand pressure or needs a safe space to go and be and live in. And then you have the guys who had a career living under stress in stressful situations and don't have that hair trigger to just do wild shit for the smallest little thing. You know what I mean? Or they may have fear, but they can operate under it and operate under that stress. So they're not going to be like, oh, well, the guy scared me, so I shot him, or I hit him in the head with my fucking baton because he scared the shit out of me. Like you just don't have that.
It used to be 5'10", 180 minimum height and weight with a high and tight haircut and a military background. Oh, dude. And then you'll get hired. Like that was the minimum.
Yeah. And now it's like, we want college kids.
Right.
That's fucking great. Have you seen the colleges recently?
Zero work experience.
Yeah. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Well, that's because everybody thinks that you can have psychologists and social workers as cops. Look what's happening. Have you guys seen what's happening in West Hollywood with their little safety patrols?
No.
Oh yeah,
is it good times?
It's good times. So I guess they have put out a safety patrol, and they're fucking hall monitors.
I heard about it.
Yeah.
Like these like bright blue shirts.
Bright blue shirt and a
Civilians?
PT belt.
Yeah.
What's that?
Civilians?
Yeah. Civilians.
No guns.
And fucking, there's this video circulating around. You can look it up of these guys watching this car just get fucking wrecked and burglarized, like windows broken, fucking shit. And they're just like,
where's my whistle?
Where's safety?
Yeah, this is. Hey guys, that's not safe.
Yeah,
and they fucking. It's like, turns out they aren't effective in stopping crime. Crime suppression involves, there's tough guys. Right, what's the quote is, we sleep soundly in our beds because rough men stand ready to do violence against people who would do violence against us.
Yeah.
That's it. It takes a thief. Like, how many ways do you want us to say it? You have to be a good man capable of violence, or a good woman capable of violence. But you have to be good and capable of violence.
Yeah.
You can't just be capable of violence because then you're a fucking psychopath.
Yeah.
And you can't just be good because then you're a fucking weakling.
Well, it's that what's his name? Peterson, Jordan Peterson. That's his quote. What you were saying. Yeah, that dude's a fucking genius.
Time just fucking flew by, boys.
Oh shit!
Isn't that fucking crazy how that works?
Yeah.
So we want to have you back. Obviously, let's set it up so we can talk about that whole other, because that is an entire show unto itself. So I think we'll have John and Justin back, and let's talk about that. Maybe we'll have Chris, who's also a Cali copper who lives up here, and we'll have him. We'll just discuss it. But Justin, every guest gets the chance to dedicate their episode, because we dedicate every episode to a fallen brother or sister in the military or a firefighter or law enforcement. And so I understand you have your own dedication.
So I was wondering, is there a way I can dedicate it not to a fallen, but to a brother of ours that just got into some gnarly shit?
You can. It's yours. You can dedicate.
We have a buddy down. He has a buddy as well, mutual friends. I worked with the dude for 16 years. Todd, I'm not going to say his last name.
Sure.
He's down in Ada County, and he was on a call, and I don't know the full circs because I haven't talked to him about it, but they went up to some crazy dude on a bike on a freeway. He ended up, the dude on the bike ended up turning around, stabbing him a couple times, and then he ended up getting shot in friendly fire. So he's recovering right now.
And he was a deputy from Southern California, worked for the same agency as you. Yep. In fact, we have mutual friends.
Oh, do we?
A friend of my wife's that she grew up with, who was also a deputy for that agency, used to babysit him or something like that. Yeah.
So I've known him day one.
Yeah.
Day one. And
good dude.
Good. Unlike me, I'm a fucking asshole. Him and his family are fucking awesome. They are great fucking human beings. Yeah. And, he's just really well liked, but he had some unfortunate shit, and he's out of the hospital now. He's doing good. He's got, from what I've heard, he's having some mental stuff, just hard. And I fucking imagine he was in the military too. Yeah. So I can't.
Easy to go through.
And he's a great dude. So I'd like to dedicate it to him.
Yeah.
Fucking, good dude, great fucking family.
Struggling to get back to it.
Yeah. Well, I hope they fucking retire his ass.
Yeah.
I fucking hope.
He's earned it.
Yeah, and like I said, just a great fucking family, good people, and deserves better.
Well, Todd, I won't say rest easy. I'm say heal well.
Yeah.
This episode's for you.
Yeah, brother.
Chuck, what do you have for us?
Well, thank you all today for listening. If you like today's podcast, please go and follow us on our Instagram at war_stories_official and our Facebook at War Stories Podcast. If you already follow us, please share our posts and our info. If you can also go to the link in our bio on the Instagram and Facebook to reach all of our socials, our media, and the website. Our podcast is on all major podcast streaming platforms as well as on YouTube. If you want to support us, please go to www.warstoriesofficial.com. We still have some gear left. If you want to be featured on the show, please go to booking.warstories@gmail.com and send me your story. I can get you booked. We're looking for law enforcement, corrections, dispatchers, fire, medics, and veterans. We're all looking for those who served in the military or law enforcement in other countries, so we can hear your stories because it is different.
Yeah, we've got some listeners in Canada. We've got some listeners in Australia, and we'll make our schedules work. I had a great. I think he's a great uncle, is what he technically would be, who was in the RCMP, and is that's a totally different.
Oh yeah,
totally different
set of rules, dude.
Weird, it's the law enforcement in Canada is way different than
you should. You should get somebody. We had one of those dudes on from what is it like? Not Australia, but where they do the haka.
Oh, Fiji,
Samoa?
and Tonga, and Samoa. And
yeah. So he was a white dude, and he did the haka. So he worked for our department, and he said over there they didn't carry a gun.
Well, he could have been from New Zealand. Or
New Zealand. Because
New Zealand, they're big.
I can probably carry machetes, dude.
Dude, he said they didn't carry a gun, and he was the dude was just a juice monster, bro. I'm like, you didn't need a gun, dude.
He was the gun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that'd be interesting.
I mean, there's the guys like the British cops. The average patrol cop doesn't carry a gun. You have to call for the special.
So you got your billy club.
You have to call for the very armed
some people
squad.
up though,
dude. Insane.
Well, they're fucking people up in the name of the Queen, or now the name of the King. So I'm doing this for the King. And you can't those fucking the royal guards that aren't supposed to talk and shit. The big fuzzy ass, they'll fuck you.
I've seen those videos, dude.
They don't play.
Dude,
and people are like,
fucking standing out there with that goddamn hat on your head, I'd be fucking pissed off already.
Right?
You're gonna come take a picture with me? Fuck you, get away.
Yeah, you think like some of the honor guards and it's like Tomb of the Unknown Soldier and some of our guys, like that's tough. I guarantee you, being that fucking royal guard outside Buckingham Palace, standing there doing nothing with nothing but asshole tourists coming up and trying to make you say something and break. Dude, I couldn't.
Yeah.
Not gonna happen.
No. Good for them.
And when they march, right, look up all the videos, guys. They just march right the fuck over people. If you get in their way with the camera, they just fucking march over you, and they don't even bat an eyelash.
Great.
So anyway, all right. Well, Justin, thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
We're gonna have you back.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, great time.
John, it's always good to see you.
Hopefully I'll be drinking next time.
Chuck, it's always good to see you too.
So much.
Feel better. Take care of yourself. And until our next episode, come home with your shield or honor.